Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskritya Naram Chaiva Narottam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayamutiriye Nashturayeshu Bhadreshu Nityam Bhakta Sevaya Bhagavati Uttam Shloke Bhaktir Bhavati Naistiki. So continuing with the discussion on Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 10, today we're starting new chapter, chapter 49, Akrura's mission in Hastinapur. So yesterday we saw how Krishna asked Akrurji to go to Hastinapur and get the report on Pandavas, how Pandavas are doing under Dhritarashtra's kingdom. Text 1 and 2. Shri Shukavacha Sagatva Hastinpuram Pauravendra Yashonkitam Dadarsha Tandrambikeyam Sabhishpam Viduram Pritham Sahaputram cha Bahanikam Bharadvajam Sagotamam Karanam Suyodhanam Daronim Pandavan Suhrido Aparan. Shukdev Goswami said, Akrura went to Hastinapur, the city distinguished by the glory of the Paurav rulers. There he saw Dhritarashtra, Bhishma, Vidura and Kunti along with Bahalik and his son Somadatta. He also saw Dronacharya, Kripacharya, Karna, Duryodhan, Ashwathama, the Pandavas and other close friends. Yathavat upsangamya bandhubhir Gandhini sutaha samprishtaste suhridvartam swayam chaprichhad avyayam. After Akrura, the son of Gandhini, had appropriately greeted all his relatives and friends, they asked him for the news of their family members, and he in turn asked about their welfare. Uvasakati chinmasan ragyo vritti vivitsaya dush prajasyalpa sarasya khalachandanu vartina. He remained in Hastinapur for several months to scrutinize the conduct of the weak-willed king, who had bad sons and who was inclined to give in to the whims of mischievous advisors. Tej ojo balam viryam prashraya disha sadgunam prajanuragam partheshu dasna sahadbhishcha kirchitam kritam cha dharta rashrayad gardanadya apeshalam achakyo sarvam evasme pritha vidur evacha. Kunti and Vidura described to Akrura in detail the evil intentions of Dhritarashtra's sons, who could not tolerate the great qualities of Kunti's sons, such as their powerful influence, military skill, physical strength, bravery, and humility. On top of it, humility, or the intense affection the citizens had for them. Kunti and Vidura also told Akrura about how the sons of Dhritarashtra had tried to poison the Pandavas and carry out other such plans. So all these things are described in detail in Mahabharata, but here Shukdev Goswami just briefly touched them. Prithatu bhrataram praptam akruram upsrityatam uvacha janma nilayam smaranti ashru kulekshana. Kunti Devi, taking advantage of her brother Akrura's visit, approached him confidentially. While remembering her birthplace, she spoke with tears in her eyes. Api smaranti na somya pitro bhratarascha me bhaginyo mad bhratri putrascha jamaya sakya evacha. Queen Kunti said, O gentle one, do my parents, brothers, sisters, nephews, family women, and girlhood friends still remember us? So, Kunti ji is the sister of Akrura. Bhratreyo Bhagwan Krishna Sharanyo Bhaktavatsala Patrishya Sreyan Smriti Ramaschamburu Hekshana. Does my nephew Krishna, the Supreme Personality and the compassionate shelter of his devotees, still remember his aunt's sons, And as lotus I drown, remember them also. Sapatna madhye shochantim vrikanam harinim santveshyati ma vakya pitrahinashcha bhalkam. Now that I am suffering in the midst of my enemies like a dove in the midst of bulls, will Krishna come to console me and my fatherless sons with his words? Krishna Krishna Mahayogin Vishvatman Vishvabhavana Prapannam Pahi Govinda Shishum Ish Chavasiditim. Krishna Krishna, O great yogi, O supreme soul and protector of the universe. O Govinda, please protect me who have surrendered to you. I and my sons are being overwhelmed by trouble. Since Lord Krishna maintains the entire universe, thought Kunti Devi, surely he can protect our family. The word Avasidatim indicates that Kunti Devi was overwhelmed by troubles. Thus exhausted, she was helplessly taking shelter of Shri Krishna. In her prayers in the first canto of the Srimad Bhagavatam, Kunti admits that all these troubles were actually a blessing, for they force her to always be intensely Krishna conscious. So many things that, although kings, Kunti Devi is a queen, or in the kingly family, Pandavas are princes, but still problems will never leave us in the material world. No matter which family we are born in or we are in, there will be problems always. And she was, as I said, exhausted by all the troubles. And this is just the beginning. They were little kids. Pandavas were little at that time. And then later on, so many more things happened. But Krishna always protected them, and she's just helplessly taking shelter of Krishna. That's all she did. So no matter what our status is, problems will be there, and all we have to do, we have to understand none of our money, power, bodily strength, intelligence, anything can take us out of these problems. Only Krishna can. And in any situation, whether problems or not, we have to learn to take shelter of lotus feet of Krishna or the holy name of Krishna. Always chant, always remember chanting. That's it. Then Krishna is always there to protect, but that way our consciousness will remain pure and will remain focused. That's all. Nanyattav padam bhojat pashyami sharanam nrinam vibhyatam mrityu sansara ishwarasya apavargikat. For persons fearful of death and rebirth, I see no shelter other than your liberating lotus feet, for you are the Supreme Lord. Namaha Krishnaya Shuddhaya Brahmane Paramatmani Yogeshwaraya Yogaya Tvam Aham Sharanam Gata. I offer my obeisances unto you, Krishna, the Supreme Pure, the Absolute Truth, and the Super Soul, the Lord of pure devotional service and the source of all knowledge. I have come to you for shelter. Srila Sridhar Swami has explained that the word Yogaya means unto the source of knowledge. The word yoga indicates connection and also the means to achieve something. As conscious souls, we have a connection with the Supreme Soul through bhakti or devotion. Through that relationship, we experience perfect knowledge of the Supreme Soul. Since the Supreme Soul is the absolute truth, perfect knowledge of Him means perfect knowledge of everything. As stated in Mundak Upanishad, when the Absolute is understood, everything is understood. Thus Lord Krishna Himself, by His spiritual potency, establishes our connection with Him. And that connection is a source of all spiritual knowledge. Thus, Acharya Sridhar, thoughtful explanation stimulates us to deeper understanding of Krishna conscious philosophy. So Krishna is a source of everything, all the knowledge. All we have to do is re-establish our connection. Connection is always there, or to revive that connection. Shri Shukavacha iti anusmritya swajanam krishnam cha jagadishwaram prarutat dukkita rajan bhavatam prapitamahi. Shukdev Goswami said, thus meditating on our family members and also on Krishna, the Lord of the universe, your great-grandmother Kunti Devi began to cry out in grief, King. So Shukdev Goswami wants to make sure that Parikshit Maharaj understands that there's a family relationship here. Sam dukkha sukho akruro vidurascha mahayasha santvayam asatu kuntim tatputro tapati hetubhi. Both Akrura, who shared Queen Kunti's distress and happiness, and the illustrious Vidura, consoled the queen by reminding her of the extraordinary way her sons had taken birth. Akrura and Vidura reminded Queen Kunti that her sons were born of heavenly gods and thus could not be vanquished like ordinary mortals. In fact, an extraordinary victory awaited this most pious family. Yasyan Rajanam Abhyetya Vishmam Putra Lalas Avadat Suhridam Madhye Bandubhi Sohridotitam. The ardent affection King Dhritarashtra felt for his sons had made him act unjustly towards the Pandavas. Just before leaving, Akrura approached the king, who was seated among his friends and supporters, and related to him the message that his relatives, Lord Krishna and Lord Balram, had sent out of friendship. Akrura Vacha, Bho Bho Vachitra Viryatvam, Gurunam Kirti Vardhana, Bhratar Uparate Pandav, Adhuna Sanam Astita. Akrura said, O my dear son of Vichitra Virya, enhancer of the Kuru's glory, your brother Pandu having passed away, you have now assumed the royal throne. Akrura was speaking ironically, since the young son of Pandu should actually have been, or since the young sons of Pandu should actually been occupying the throne. Upon the death of Pandu, they were too young to immediately govern and so were put in Dhritarashtra's care. But now sufficient time had passed and their legitimate rights should have been recognized. But Dhritarashtra is not ready to give up the kingdom. Dharmen palayan urvim prajashilen ranjayan vartamanasma sveshu shreya kirtim avapsyasi. By religiously protecting the earth, delighting your subjects with your noble character, and treating all your relatives equally, you will surely achieve success and glory. Akrura told Dhritarashtra that even though he had usurped the throne, if he now ruled according to the principles of dharma and behaved properly, he could be successful. So this is the whole purpose, to live according to the principles of dharma. Whatever dharma, varna, ashram, dharma we have, whatever varna and ashram we are in, just live accordingly. And that's it. The life will be successful. But no, this greed takes over and then we do all nonsense things. Anyatha tvacharam loke garhito yasyase tama tasmat samatve vartasva pandveshva atma jeshu cha. If you act otherwise, however, people will condemn you in this world and in the next life. You will enter the darkness of hell. Remain equally disposed, therefore, towards Pandu's sons and your own. Dhritarashtra's whole problem was his excessive attachment to his nasty sons. That was a fatal flaw that caused his downfall. There was no lack of good advice from all sides. And Dhritarashtra even admitted that the advice was sound, but he could not follow it. One can have clear, practical intelligence when the mind and heart are pure. And that is why mind and heart are pure means the consciousness is pure. Then one can have, one can follow the proper advice. Neh chatyanta samvasa kasya chit kena chitsaha Rajan Svenapi Dehena Kimu Jayatma Jaditi. In this world, no one has any permanent relationship with anyone else. Okay. We cannot stay forever within our own body. What to speak of our wife, children, and the rest? So the point is, just do the right thing. Eka prasuyate jantur, eka eva praliyate, eka anubhunkte sukritam, eka eva chadushkritam. Every creature is born alone and dies alone, and alone one experiences the just rewards of his good and evil deeds. The term anubhunkte is significant here. Bhunkte means a living being experiences, and anu means following or in the sequence. In other words, we experience happiness and distress according to the moral and spiritual quality of our activities. We are responsible for what we do. Dhritarashtra was falsely and obsessively attached to his evil-minded sons, forgetting that he alone would have to suffer alone for his imprudent behavior. But this is the karma philosophy. It just actually what happens is when it comes to looking at or commenting upon somebody else's karma, we become the best judge. We are ready to pass our judgments. Oh, you're doing this and this is why you're suffering because you did this karma or that karma or some bad karma you must have done. But when it comes to our life, our karmas, we become the best advocates, try to defend ourselves or justify our actions. So all we have to do, not look at others, ourselves, our life. We are responsible for our lives, where we are heading next life. That's what we have to see. And in Krishna's administration, justification does not work. Only humility works. Who are we trying to justify? Adharmopachittam vittam harantiye anya alpamedhasa sambhojaniya padesha jalaneva jalokasaha. In the guise of dear dependent, strangers steal the sinfully acquired wealth of a foolish man, just as the offsprings of a fish drink up the water that sustains the fish. Ordinary people feel they cannot live without their wealth, although the possessions of it is circumstantial and temporary. Just as wealth gives life to an ordinary man, water gives life to a fish. One's dear dependents, however, steal one's wealth, just as a fish's offspring drink up the water sustaining the fish. In the words of Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur, this world is a weird abode. It is a weird abode. And this thing, dear dependents, strangers steal the wealth of a foolish man. Maybe the foolish man or too trusting a man, maybe this was his karma to lose the wealth. Or maybe the strangers or the dependents, they are creating their own karma. It's a strange world. We all know we're going to leave this world empty-handed. But we are working so hard, and so many people are by hook or crook. They want to make money, whatever, no matter what happens, and they don't understand. If by cheating they want to make money, the money will not stay and the karma will be added in their bank account. What's the point? Just like it is said that if we give donation to a right person, in one place in Bhagavatam we studied, If we give to the right person, we get back in the same amount. If we give to a Brahman, then we get back with the interest. And if we, so on and so forth, it is mentioned, if we give charity. Similarly, it works the other way around also. If we cheat money, cheat somebody out of money, then if we are cheating some really exalted person, then we have to pay so much of interest on it also when we have to give it back. Whether give it back to the same person or give it back somehow or other, it will be coming out of our account with plenty of interest added to it. This is how it works. This is what the law is. And we cannot argue, we cannot justify against that law that, no, I did this because Krishna knows everything. That's why in Yamalok, there are no lawyers there, not to defend you. So lawyers might be there for getting their punishments, but not to defend, not to fight a case against Yamaraja's jurisdiction. Pushnati yana dharmena swabuddhya tam panditam deya kritartam prahanivanti prana raya sudadaya. A fool indulges in sin to maintain his life, wealth, and children and other relatives, for he thinks these things are mine. In the end, however, these very things will abandon him, leaving him frustrated. In these verses, Akrura is giving rather frank advice to Dhritarashtra. Those who know the story of Mahabharata will realize how relevant and prophetic these instructions are and how much Dhritarashtra suffered for not accepting them. Although one tenaciously clings to his property, in the end all is lost and the blundering soul is swept away by the wheel of birth and death. And another thing is, if we unrighteously or by cheating, we take up some property, like Dhritarashtra was clinging on the throne, was he happy? Nowhere it is mentioned that he was very happy. All the time, some fear, some plotting going on in his mind and the mind of Duryodhana and Padi. What's the point in all this? Fighting, working, politics, cunningness, shrewdness, everything, all the schemes. If you're not happy, we think we will be happy by stealing money, by taking over something. No. By cheating somebody. No. If it comes on its own accord, by whatever is in our destiny, we work hard, intelligently, honestly, and then whatever comes, it will give much satisfaction. But this is not how the world works. And that is why there are chaos all over the world. There are sufferings, there are fights, and so many things are going on. And they will continue to go on. So this is what we have to learn from the scriptures, how to lead our lives properly, in a healthy, happy way. And just pass our lives doing bhajan, serving the Lord, serving the devotees. And when we leave the body, go back home, back to God. That's all. What's the point in cheating and so much of politics everywhere? At work, at home, in society, in families, everywhere so much of tension is going on. That's why Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur said, this world is not fit for a gentleman to live in. It's not fit at all. So, but while we have this body, we have to live in this world. So, make best use of the bad market and engage in devotion service wholeheartedly, so that we don't have to come back again here. So I guess I'll stop here. See anybody has any questions or comments.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu.
Prabhuji, this in the third part canto, there is a picture. What does this picture signify?
In this, which canto?
Now we are reading the third part 3 of 10th canto.
Oh, actually, my only shows one picture. I am online, that's why I see only one picture of 10th canto.
So now I'll share the picture.
Yeah, you can take the picture and share it.
Okay.
You can click the picture.
Okay, I'll do that.
Okay. Okay, so I'll stop here. You all have a safe and wonderful day. Hare Krishna. Jai Shri Prabhupada.
Hare Krishna. Jai Shri